Well, hi everyone, Sean Humphreys here. Welcome to All Things Retirement. Well, in this installment, we're going to talk about Canada Pension Plan, and specifically, we'll talk about how do you go about applying for Canada Pension Plan. What are some of the key considerations you need to be aware of before you make the application for that government pension? So I think you'll enjoy the tips that we cover off today in this particular video. Now, if you're new to our channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. We're posting content all the time on different aspects of retirement planning. Whether you're just about to be retired or currently retired, you'll get some good value from the videos, as well as content on overall financial planning and wealth planning. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. Now let's take a look at some of the key considerations before you go about applying for Canada Pension Plan. Now, first of all, the Canada Pension Plan benefits a government-administered pension plan that provides you with a guaranteed retirement income through your retirement years. There's two criteria that you need to qualify for or fulfill to apply for your Canada Pension Plan benefits. Number one, you have to be at least 60 years of age to apply. And number two, you have to at one point along your working journey have made at least one contribution to Canada Pension Plan. Now, before we get into a discussion on the application process, probably a good idea is to talk about how Canada Pension Plan works. So first of all, it's a funded pension plan. So you make contributions, your employer makes contributions. The maximum percentage is 10.5%, and so 5.25% by your employer, 5.25% by you. That's normally an at-source deduction off payroll every single pay period. Now, those deductions keep happening until you hit something called the yearly maximum pensionable earnings. For 2021, that number is $61,600. If I look at last year, the maximum insurable earnings number was $58,700. Now, the other thing is before they apply that 10.5%, they reduce from that $58,700 from last year or the $61,600 for this year. They take off that a basic exemption number of $3,500. So if I look at last year's numbers, if you take the $58,700, back out a $3,500 sort of exemption amount on insurable earnings, that gives you $55,200 insurable earnings, and that's what is used when they apply the 10.5% contribution rate. So again, that's shared between both you and your employer, normally at source through source deductions. So the next big question is how much will you actually receive from Canada Pension Plan? So that's not as straightforward as you'd think it is. So first of all, Canada Pension Plan is not like old age security benefits, which is a fixed rate benefit for all Canadians that's cost of living adjusted when you hit 65 as an example. It's not based on your contributions or your earnings. It's simply you've lived in this country for 40 years and you qualify for that pension. So there's a few factors that go into Canada Pension Plan benefits. So an example would be your age when you make the application, how much you've contributed to Canada Pension Plan and for how long, and your average annual insurable earnings throughout your career. So those are the main components. Now there's some other pieces to the calculation as well. And ultimately, you want to begin familiarizing yourself with the Canada Pension Plan website. Just Google it, Canada Pension Plan, Government of Canada. It'll take you to a website that will give you various resources that will help to give you some more information about the benefits calculation and the factors that they'll take into account for your benefit. The reality is, unfortunately, you really won't know the final number until you actually make your application and they confirm the calculations for you and your benefit rate. Now, the maximum benefit, I just Googled this, in 2021 for Canada Pension Plan was $1,203.75 per month. That's a pre-tax number. Now, the average benefit paid out in June 2021 was, as an example, was $619.68. So a huge range of benefits. Most people are not at the maximum rate because many people were not making maximum insurable contributions through their career. So we start our careers, we start working, we may be at lower income levels in the early phase of our careers. So most people are not at the maximum rate, but that gives you a starting point. And that rate can be further adjusted depending on whether you take it early. So you can take the benefit before age 65, that will reduce your benefit. And you can take the benefit past age 65, let's say you can defer it to age 70, and that will increase your monthly benefit as well. Now, another interesting point to Canada Pension Plan, and it wasn't always the case, but now if you're already receiving Canada Pension Plan benefits, you can continue working and continue receiving the Canada Pension Plan benefit. And when you do that, you continue to make contributions to Canada Pension Plan. And that's referred to as a post-retirement benefit. Once you hit age 70, then your contributions to Canada Pension Plan cease completely, even if you continue to work and receive employment income. Okay, that's a few basic opening comments about Canada Pension Plans. So the next part of this discussion is how do we apply for Canada Pension Plan? And essentially, it's a 5-step process. So I'm going to cover off each of those steps for you. Okay, the first step in the process is determine your eligibility. So we've already covered this off. If you are applying for Canada Pension Plan, you have to be at least age 60, and you have to have made one contribution at some point over your career to Canada Pension Plan. So the second step when applying for Canada Pension Plan is to determine when you want to apply for it. So we've talked about age 65. That's a pretty common time period for people to apply for Canada Pension Plan, but many people will apply for it earlier. So why would you take it earlier? Because if I took it early, let's say at age 60, there's a 7.2% penalty for every year I'm taking it early. So that's a 36% reduction from what the maximum benefit would have been at age 65. I can also defer it. So for every year I defer after age 65, the benefit rate goes up by 8.4%. So people often will take Canada Pension Plan early because there's no really big residual benefit if you die prematurely. A lot of people just take the view that we're going to take the money and run. I don't want to take the chance that I don't live to normal life expectancy and I leave a bunch of money on the table. So that's maybe one reason. Some people will defer taking it because if you don't have a defined benefit pension plan, if you don't have pension incomes from work as an example, some people will defer taking the pension, try to enhance that benefit by deferring it because it is fully cost of living adjusted. So if your concern is more about income guarantees over a long life, then you might see some people deferring past age 65. Now, when it comes to the decisions around when to start it, that's very, very dependent about your own personal circumstances. So when I walk people through a retirement income plan, when to take Canada Pension Plan is not an unimportant consideration. So we have the discussions and the trade-offs between taking it early or deferring it and building those assumptions into the models to see which is most efficacious for that client. Now, when it comes to actually applying for Canada Pension Plan, you can apply up to 12 months in advance of actually receiving the benefit. And if you actually look at Canada Pension Plan on their own website, they'd recommend that you start that process at least 6 months before the benefit is to be paid out to you. So step 3 is choosing your application method. So you can apply for Canada Pension Plan in person, you can do it by mail, and you can do it online. And by far and away, online applications are the fastest way of getting your Canada Pension Plan approved and getting through the process. So when you apply for Canada Pension Plan online, for example, your application form is generally processed within 7 to 14 days. When you apply in person or by mail, it can take as long as 4 months. So definitely the recommendation is to use the online application process for Canada Pension Plan. Okay, so now you've decided which approach you're going to use to get the application started. And of course, you've got the online option, the mail-in option, and then just dropping into a Service Canada location and just leaving your application form with them. So like I said, I would encourage you when it comes to submission of your application, just go with the online option. That's the best option to use. And if you're not familiar with the technology to do that, or you're not comfortable with that approach, then you can always get a family friend or loved one to help you with that process. And then step 5. Step 5 is really about monitoring the status of your Canada Pension Plan application form. So again, you can check the status of the application by using the My Service Canada account online. So if you don't have that account right now and you're about to begin the serious investigation of getting started on your Canada Pension Plan, then I would encourage you to get a My Service Canada account so that you can get updates. Those updates will be posted to your online account so you can see how your application process is progressing through the system. Well, that summarizes the steps you need to take to apply for your Canada Pension Plan. Hopefully you found that overview helpful. Canada Pension Plan old age security benefits, particularly in a couple situation, is not an insignificant amount of income that you will receive as a family through your retirement years. So these are important decisions, and like I said in the video earlier, it's best to look at those decisions in the context of your overall retirement income plan. It's one of those pieces that when we work with our own clients, guiding them through the retirement decisions is a very important piece to look at carefully. Now, we also have resources. So if you're someone that's a few years out from retirement, let's say 5 years, or maybe already retired, you probably will find our resources very helpful. So you'll see on our website here, if I go to our website and I'll go to services and go to retirement planning, if you go to that particular tab, you're going to find a bit of an overview by video on our retirement planning services, and then some complementary tools that you can just grab hold of. We've got a retirement planning checklist, retirement planning tip sheet, retirement snapshot. So that's a sample of the report we generate for people when we do retirement planning. And then of course we've got our YouTube resource page. Now, in addition to that, we have some great calculators. So if you go to our toolbox tab and then you go down to online calculators, just click that little icon. So this will take you to our financial planning tools and calculators tab. And so there's quite a few calculators that are linked directly to retirement income planning, but there's some tax calculators as well. So take a look at that. You might find some useful tools. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, make sure you hit the like button. And if you want to get future content, make sure you subscribe to our channel as well, because we're posting content all the time. Wishing you all the best in your retirement planning journey and your goals in the area of wealth planning, financial planning. You take care. Bye-bye.